Yes, guys, Suki from BTS TV, fueled by Explosive Ape Transform Now and also Powerhouse Club coming soon in December 2025. Get a sponsor out of the way. Let's go straight into this. This is the first episode of Men's Physique TV, and let me talk to you about our co-host lineup. First, I'm going to go to Matt Parker. You've seen this guy before. You've seen the pro card behind him. You've seen the sword. The guy knows everything to do with Men's Physique on the UK side. And look, always keen to bring him on when it comes to Men's Physique. And also, we got our another co-host in Michael Rattini. Michael, the guy behind the Men's Physique news channel, the biggest Instagram, the biggest social media Men's Physique channel around, the place you go for all the news, all the updates. And it's no surprise I wanted Michael to be part of this. And Michael, first off, a big thank you yourself, mate, for being part of this new setup that I kind of created.
Yeah, no, I'm happy you guys invited me to be a part of this. Glad I can support it and get the UK the respect it deserves in this division and get the coverage it needs. And to have these two aligned is going to be amazing. So glad that we can also broaden our network to that area, because it's hard to do that. So having you guys there and connection with us it just made a lot of sense for us.
Epic.
Should be really exciting. So anyone that obviously followed my program before, my YouTube channel, the Men's Physique Recap, still be the same principle. We still will be covering the UK amateurs, but Mike can also cover some of the US amateurs, the top guys that are looking like they're going to be getting their pro cards. That would be really cool to look at. But then the fact that we've now got these connections, like Suki's got this platform, we can bring on some of the top guys in the game and actually get to know them a little bit behind what goes on behind the stage as well, because we all know what prep is like, and sometimes you see these physiques on stage, they look incredible, right? But you don't know the journeys that they've gone through. Every competitor goes through a journey, so it's quite cool to hear some of that as well. And then to recap all the pro shows, and because there's been many YouTube channels that have done it before, but they haven't been consistent. And I think with the platform that you provide here, Suki, I think it'd be really good.
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about. It's about being consistent. Look, we're not going to be short of news in the Men's Physique division. We know there's always things going on. There's always things we need to talk about. So with myself, Matt, Michael, of course, with the Men's Physique news channel, we got this covered. So I'm buzzing for 2025. I can't wait. But look, we know we've got a special guest on later. But Matt, I'm going to throw it to yourself first, because let's just focus on the UK scene for a bit. I know it's a bit of a stale moment. It's January. Still no shows happening. I mean, like America, you guys got the LA Expo coming up soon. I do hope, touching wood everywhere, that everything still goes to plan. Obviously, with the fires going on there, I do hope. I thought so with everyone over there. Matt, the UK scene, I'm going to throw it to you straight away. Anybody catching your eye this early in 2025? Go on, give me some names.
There's a few guys, and it's about 10 and a half weeks out from our first NPC regional, right? And then over here, Mike, we've got pro qualifiers, which is literally like 2 weeks after that. So everyone going for that is pretty much going to be gunning for an IFBB pro card. So there's some heavy hitters going for it. I was on another channel the other day. We spoke about this guy. It's Kyle. Do you know Kyle, Suki?
Give me a second, mate. Let me bring his page up.
He's very good. He's either going to be doing the first one or he's going to be doing Scotland, which is just a couple of weeks afterwards. He's thinking about going over to do FIBO as well.
Say Kyle.
Kyle, yeah.
Kyle's his last name? Oh, here he is.
Top one.
Let me bring his details up. So 27 years old, 2 bros, Men's Physique overall 2023. Let's have a look here. Let me just grab. There we go. There's one picture here. Okay. So this was 15 weeks out from 4 days ago.
He's looking very, very dangerous, mate. The amount of size he's packed on from last year, from 2023, is like crazy. And he looked very good in 23. All he needed was more size, and he's got that now. So I think he's going to be definitely one to watch out for. Like I said, I think he's going to do FIBO. I don't know if he's going to do the 2 Bros show as well, but yeah, he's pretty dangerous.
Do you have to win the overall, correct?
What's that, sorry?
You have to win the overall in this show?
Yeah, to get the pro cards, yeah. So he's
who's his coach?
Nathan Stiles.
Oh, there he is. So this is a picture for 2023 in France. Okay, so Nathan Styles. So yeah, you can see fuck's sake, man. The guy's morphed, hasn't he?
Yeah.
These two pictures in between.
You can see he's got the
Yeah,
structure. His weakness was the back shot. So if he's brought that up as well to match his front, he's dangerous, man. And I think he could potentially hold his own in pro show as well, but depends how he comes in, of course. I think that's his goal.
Yeah.
I spoke to Zach the other day as well. I've got a list of his guys. He's got 5 guys going in for the early shows as well. Some heavy hitters. Timothy Mann.
Give me a couple.
You ever heard of Timothy Mann?
Timothy. I'm sure I've come across him. I'm going to recognize him when I see him. What's his Instagram page?
It might be just Tim Mann. Hold on 2 seconds. I'll bring him up.
Tim Mann. Let's look.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, Timothy Mann is his Instagram name.
Timothy Mann. I can't find him.
2 words. So Timothy underscore men. There we go.
Men. Okay.
Top one there.
Oh yeah. There he is.
So this guy's really
right,
good, man. Like, he's got unreal structure. Really, really good structure. And he's taken some time to grow as well. He just missed out. He actually beat Louis Blackmore last year. And then Louis Blackmore went on and won the pro card the week later. So he's
got size.
Yeah.
This is for 23. I remember seeing him at the PCA shows. I think he did a couple maybe, and he was cleaning up. He was really strong. And this is for 23 as well, I guess. Yeah,
how's his back?
Let's
his back's pretty good as well. Yeah.
Oh, that was 23 weeks ago.
So that was he was a few weeks out. He was a few weeks out from the shows, and then he pulled out last minute. But so you can kind of see the kind of shape that he brings. He's pretty damn good.
A little bit, but
doesn't play so many back shots though.
I always say those guys that don't print all those back shots, they might be hiding something.
That's why you won't find any back shots on my page. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, if his back matches his front, he's going to be very good. And he's
always a question.
Yeah,
he's one of these guys that's got like a high ceiling because you can tell he can still grow more. And with that structure, with even more size on, he's going to be lethal.
This is one from 10 weeks ago, so this is probably the most recent one.
Yeah, I saw him compete at the PCA Saxon show where he won the overall. And when he walked out, his shoulders to shoulder like width, it's just ridiculous. It's probably because his waist is small. It just emphasizes it. But yeah, it's quite freaky in person.
Yeah, just more lower lats too. I think also if he changes back pose up a little there, it would make him look like he has more thickness in his lower lats. As you can see, he kind of pulls up like this versus being down like this. So he actually adjusts his back pose a little. You'll see better shape in his lats because he has a very long front clavicle. He's got great front.
Yeah.
He's just he needs to bring down his lower lats more, and by relaxing in his back pose, not pulling his elbows back like this, it's going to make his lats even appear like he's a lot thicker. Like
yeah.
You can see his insertions are very high.
Me and Zach were talking. He's
pulling up like this versus being like this.
Yeah, he's almost got a back like Corey Morris because Corey Morris has quite high lats, doesn't he? So it's fairly similar to that.
Of course.
But yeah. So he should be good.
Who else we got?
We've covered Tamas before, so we won't cover Tamas. There is Lee Herring.
Yeah, we'll leave Tamas for a bit. Yeah, so Lee, I know Lee very well, but he's done a few of my shows before, and I've seen him get the results over at PCA. A lot of muscle for such a small frame as well. Try to find some stage pictures.
He's Class A, so it is always a little bit more tricky for the Class A guys. But like you said, he's got a lot of muscle, and his legs are really good too. So like from head to toe. He's quite balanced. And he's brought his back up a lot as well. He should be quite good.
That Class A is a tough class, man. That Class A is tough. We saw Josh Ward come out of it, and I think he's the only Class A competitor I can think of. In fact, him and Sheridan on the UK side were the only Class A competitors to win a pro card in men's physique in 2024.
And we know how many shows Sheridan had to do. But it's
Yep, I mean,
yeah,
exactly, mate. Here we go. Has he got anything from his back? I know he's got a thick back. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Here he is.
So yeah, he's quite good. I mean, if he's still competing when I compete later in the year, we'll get our rematch because he actually beat me last year. No, 2023. So I want a rematch with him.
Give me one more person, mate. One more person from the UK.
One more. Okay, so this guy's a bit.
But not with Zach, with somebody else.
Oh, it is Zach again. He's got all the good guys, mate. Honestly, you do want to have a look at this guy because he is potentially good.
All right, give me. All right, go on then.
He's just gone from being natural to not natural. So type in S.G.
So how many classes will they have? 8 classes of height classes, and then the overall,
and then trainer. So it goes up to class F. So is that 8? Is that 8 classes? I think so.
Yeah, something like that.
No, that'd be A, B, C, D, E. It's 6.
6, yeah. So they usually do up to class F. So yeah, this guy was natural until very recently, and you can see him next to I've forgotten his name. He won the pro card last year, and then he matches up. That's not him. That's Dale
Black.
No, not Dale.
Oh.
Top left picture. Huss.
Who have we got here? This is SG.
Yep, that's it. Yep. Next to Huss. That's it. So he's next to Huss there. Huss won the pro card. Yeah. He won the pro card last year, Huss. And, they look similar-ish. And this guy's only just gone down the not natural route. So if he responds well, I think he could be very good.
Needs to square up a little more in that front pose. Stands very sideways.
I'd like to know what his feedback was from. He did the Naturals Ben Weeders towards the end of last year. That's when I first saw him.
How did he do there?
I don't think he placed.
Yeah, he needs a little more size, and that pose doesn't do him any justice. It actually makes him look like see how he's so sideways in his pose. He's trying to accentuate his waist, but he's taking away his whole upper body.
Yeah. I wonder if that's what his feedback was as well. Yeah. So if he responds well, sorts his posing out, he could be good. Anyone from the US, Mike?
We got a lot of guys. I mean, we don't have our first national qualifying. Well, we have the Arnold, which we have in March. Well, end of February, March. It runs into each other. And that's more of an international show, so we don't have a ton of guys. If you look at the past winners of that show, it's always guys from out of the country, because that's the only way they can't get their pro card in Universe or some of the other ones. North Americans is Canada, Mexico, and US. So you have to be one of those 3 countries. And now North Americans is not top 2 anymore. You have to win your class. But kind of you have your start at the Arnold for us, which you have to win the overall, just like you guys. Any of those international amateur Olympias or amateur Arnolds, got to win the overall. Yeah. Then you have after that, the first show for us is Junior USA's, which is in May, and that is top 3 overall. Then after that, you have Junior Nationals, which is Sandy's show. That you win your class, which is a good show. And then after that, you have Universe, which is top 2, which now you're starting to see classes of 30-something guys coming out in each group. They're a much larger show. When you have more, people always think that when you have more pro cards, it's easier. It's really not, because you're going against 34 guys, 27 guys in a class, versus if you go to Junior USA's, which is top 3 overall. One of my guys, Brandon Cato, won that him and Ricardo were 1 and 2. You know, that you got maybe 15, or sometimes some classes were like 7 people. Actually, I believe B class had 4.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, but you got to win you got to be top 3 overall out of 8 guys. So, you know, I like Junior USA's as a good, I usually use that show as a warm up for my guys, you know, kind of get in front of the judges. But what I really don't like, you're not going to have a Steve Weinberger there. You're not going to have a Tyler Mannion there. You do have a Sandy, but one thing I teach my guys, and this goes for anywhere, try to stay in front of the same judges a lot, you know, and move your stock up with that judge as you go into every national show in front of them. So I try to teach my guys like, hey, let's go to junior nationals, junior USAs. That's our warm up. If you're a national level competitor, I'm not putting you in a regional show to waste the prep. You know, you're going to stay at the national level, go against better caliber. These judges do follow the placings in the USA. So if they see that you're a guy that won your class in junior USAs but lost in overall, you know, they're going to look at you at junior nationals. You know, Tyler, one thing about Tyler, especially with men's physique, you know, he studies the sport and he follows what's going on. He looks at the placings. He'll look at people's Instagrams. So, you know, it's good to kind of warm up at a show like that at Junior USA. I don't put a lot of guys in the Arnold. You know, if I put a guy in the Arnold, like my guy that just won nationals, the guy that won D class, E class, he lost in overall. He was 2nd in overall nationals this year. Antoine, he's from Alabama. He's actually lives right next to Emmanuel Hunter. You know, that was a guy did Arnold last year, and he lost to 2 international guys and took 3rd at the Arnold Amateur. And I'm like, listen, we're not going to Arnold Amateur. I know you want to win that show and you think it's a prestigious title, but we got to go to a national level and stay in front of the same judge, because you went to the Arnold, you're not seeing that. Now Tyler has to re-see you, and then you got to kind of stay in front of Tyler and build your stock. You know, he was so good that, you know, I thought a lot of people thought he could have won the overall. The guy that won it was a much bigger guy. They went with much more development. I think he's more ready for the pro league. So I understand. My guy was more conditioned, you know, had a better waist, but the other guy fit the pro league better. And that's what I think at a national level show, who should win the overall. The guy that should win the overall is the guy I feel out of that overall lineup is who's could do a pro show next, you know? So there's a bunch of guys out there that we have in the league.
No, what I was going to do is let me just jump on some updates that I kind of shared on the page recently. I'm really keen to get your feedback on this. One of them was from yesterday. Let me just bring this up. So I don't know if you saw this as well, but this was from Aaron Banks. He did a Instagram live. And if I just bring this up, this was Aaron Banks confirming that in 2 to 3 years, he'll be looking to hang up.
Before I retire, that is a fact. That's why I've been building and destroying my legs. I maybe got 2 or 3 years left in the tank. And then, yes, I will definitely be doing a classic physique show before I retire.
How do you think Aaron would do in classic physique?
Go on, Mike.
I don't think he would do as well as he is in men's physique. I don't think, you know, I mean, again, if he spends the time building his legs for 3 years and he's really trying to bring them up that much, taller guys have a disadvantage when it comes to classic physique. You know, that's why Chris Bumstead was so hard to beat, because he's a guy about 6 foot. If you look at all the tall guys, you know, mostly the more compact guys with the small waist, the ones that have more muscle, they're winning those shows. You know, as tall as Aaron is, you know, yeah, he's got a good waist. He's got a great back. I think it's going to take him a good amount of time. He's really going to have to train a different style. I don't know how custom he is to training like a bodybuilder versus a men's physique athlete, but I don't think he'll be as successful as he is in men's physique, which I did believe at a certain time, and I still believe that Aaron could have been, if he kind of just put the blinders on and he worried about just working and staying out of, the drama, I think Aaron could have been a 3, 4, 5-time champion in men's physique. There was people talking about that he could have maybe reigned for 3 or 4 years when he was coming up. He was so dominant looking. When he first came out, those first 2 years, I had him winning the first Olympia that he took second in. I had him winning that. He won the second one. That could have been 2 Olympia titles there, in my opinion. And then if he would have kind of kept himself, out of everything and focused, and he had a lot of things going on in his life that I think threw him off too. So, he could have won a third and been could have been talked about as one of the greatest of all time. He's also an Arnold champ, 2-time Arnold champ, right? I mean, this guy, I think if he can come back and win this title again, stay in men's physique and kind of go after what you originally said, that you were going to be a guy, you were going to be the Phil Heath of men's physique.
I think I agree with Michael for sure. Like, he has got a very high ceiling for men's physique. He's got the structure he's built for men's physique. Maybe if he wants to do kind of like what Chris Bumstead did, right? He did say before he retires, maybe he'll retire from men's physique, do one classic show for fun. I don't think maybe he wasn't serious about making a transition from men's physique to classic. Not saying it can't be done, because it can. Like Logan Franklin did it, right? He's very high level classic physique competitor. But if you look at what classic looks for, you need big ass arms. That's not one of Aaron Banks' strong suit, and nor should it be in men's physique. So right now, I agree with Mike.
It's going to be balanced. They don't have to be big, but I mean balanced. I mean, Chris Bumstead was just balanced from every part of his body. I think the reason why Chris retired is you can start seeing there was these tears happening. His leg, his arm, his legs weren't as looking as, lines were starting to kind of go. You started seeing those, I wouldn't say deformities, but, you started seeing those.
Yeah, let's just quickly move off this one for a moment. I just want to jump on this one as well. Matt, let me throw this to you. Listen to this. This is from Ali Bilal on the webinar event I hosted on the weekend. Give me your thoughts.
UK title. I want to have the Arnold Ohio. Then when I gonna be like, no one has ever done that. These are the 4 biggest shows in the world. I want to win all of them, and it's, why not? If you have the chance, why not?
So let me just go back to this one moment. So basically, you heard all that, right?
Yeah, got it. So basically, he just wants to do all the shows and win them all. Essentially, right?
So basically, I spoke to him, asked why did I spoke to him, why did he choose to not extend his off season and just focus on Olympia after coming second behind Ryan? His reason was, why would I give somebody else the opportunity to build momentum when I want to win all those titles for myself? I want to be the first person in the men's physique era to win all 4 big titles in 1 year.
I love it. I do absolutely love it. Funnily enough, I was talking to Aaron Banks about this before Olympia last year. The fact that he competed a few times, he did Dubai Pro, for example, before the Olympia, even though he's a previous Olympia champion. They don't have to do it. And typically, guys just do the Olympia, right? If they can. But I think it's great. It shows that they actually love to compete. It shows that they love the sport. If they're good enough and they're confident enough to think they can win it, why not? The only thing I would say about Ali doing it is Ryan did smoke him from the back. If Ali can still improve his back and compete through the season, absolutely go for it. But if not, he's not going to beat Ryan again. That's my opinion on it.
My opinion is this. It's simple. He's at his weight cap, right? He can't grow anymore. He can only fine tune, and to stay in shape to be 5 or what was Olympia, 6 months out, 7 months out from, he can only improve that much more. He's at his max. He's barely making the weight cap right now. So he really can't he can't stay out of shape. He can't put on tons of muscle. He's kind of, and he's fully maxed out. His legs look good. He's got an X frame, but Ali just is not going to have the shape as someone like Emmanuel Hunter, someone like even Ryan. And Ryan didn't have the best back in the world, but the detail, the lats, the density. When you look at them compared to each other, Ryan's got a better overall look than Ali aesthetically from men's physique. If you look at the front shot, Ryan can stand front because he does have a good waist. He's got great abdominals. Ali has to angle so hard because he doesn't have that hourglass and then the waist comes down. He's very thick. So when he turns around from the back, he's not going to have those flared out lats into a smaller waistline. It's just never going to happen. You can only manipulate structure so much.
Well, look, let me bring in somebody who hopes to crash the party for all men's physique competitors, because he'll be coming back this year, and I can see him wait in the background. Let me just add him in. Welcome to the chat, Jeremy. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good, mate.
Can you hear us, Jeremy?
Thank you for coming on.
Jeremy?
All right. Everything kind of good there?
Let me just remove that banner so at least we can see more of you. There we go.
Yeah, much better.
Perfect.
Jeremy, first off, mate, great to hear that you're back on stage. Look, there's a lot of guys in UK, big fan of your physique. We obviously saw the damage you did all those years ago with Olympia. You're now coming back. I guess my question is, I'm going to throw this question in, and then I'll leave it to Matt. I want Michael to have his input as well. What is the end goal for 2025 for yourself?
It sounds a little redundant, but I do genuinely feel I can still be competitive in that mix, mostly from a structural standpoint. I don't know. I feel very confident this season. I feel very different in my mindset. And I feel like when you bring a little bit of, obviously some genetics, some good muscle, structure with a confident mindset and a good work ethic, a lot more is possible. That's something I've been lacking for a while now. So I'm hoping to definitely shake things up a little bit, Obviously, every year is different. The competition definitely hasn't gotten easier. And, I've been in it for a while. So just really want to try to get out there and show people that I'm still here.
Epic. Well, we can tell that you're feeling confident and everything like that because the shows that you're going for, they're not small shows, which I think is awesome. Going for the big ones straight away, because if you obviously do well there, that creates a big impact moving forward.
Exactly.
So we briefly spoke about this before you came on, but did you know what the lineup was going to be before you put your name on, or did you think it doesn't matter, you want to do that show, get in front of Tyler?
I mean, I kind of made the decision to do the show several months ago, at least mentally. I knew Brandon was going to be doing it. That was somebody I did know was going to be doing it for a fact. I knew Ali was the reigning champ for the Pittsburgh Pro. So I just figured, you can't be scared of the competition as a competitor. You got to go out there.
Right? I mean,
exactly. It's like, what's the point of being scared to do a show like this? And your goal is to make it to the Olympia. It doesn't make much sense. So in my opinion, it's a little mini version of the Olympia, turning out to be pretty damn awesome. And I mean, it's you got to stand with the best to be looked at as one of the best.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny because Suki said only earlier, actually, that this is kind of like the Olympia, just without Ryan Terry there.
Yeah.
The lineup that there is very, very good. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. So,
Arnold, much more competitive. And I think if Jeremy can win this show, which I think he can, that puts him back in the top to be, back in the top 3 at Olympia where he's been twice, right? So I think it's a smart move for you, honestly, Jeremy. I'm glad you're doing it. And I think, we have a lot of history, guys. Me and Jeremy, we talked briefly about that before Jeremy got on. But, Jeremy's one of those unique physiques that you can't help but look at, right? So, and you can't help but to want to compare guys to him. He's got a thick back, he's got a full chest, and he's got a crazy waist. And he's got legs. So for the criteria, if you think about it, what they're looking for with that X frame, with the good balanced legs, the small waist, thick back, right? Full chest, good look. There's no reason why I would be and unless you're, can't control how we peak on stage, but if you bring one of your better peak packages, it's going to be very interesting the situation that you're going to put the judges in, because now they're really going to have to judge.
Yeah, and that's always been my goal. I know I'm not the guy with the prettiest muscle insertions. I don't have the best set of abs, but I am working religiously to deepen my core, obviously by building your abs up. I could bring them back similar to how I were in 2016. And then if I'm comparing myself shot for shot, not necessarily going through the transitions and stuff like that, I think I stand a very good chance. I think I match up well with the guys who are going to be up there, in that top call out. Like I said, again, going strictly money shot for money shot. But yeah, like I said, I feel very confident. I have a great corner. I think I put it out there plenty where, the past several years, not a lot to put out there on social media, but yeah, I wasn't in a good place. I think Mike knows a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And really it wasn't until about, really this summer where I kind of just started looking for help and started getting better mentally. And, I have some good friends in my corner that I'm able to talk to, and they're helping me really focus on conquering my mind. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is conquering my mindset. And now that I'm getting there, it's just getting more and more exciting.
I think it's better for you to come in as an underdog versus coming in as number 3 in the world.
Yeah.
Because I think it holds a lot of pressure. Big reason why we didn't put a manual in this show is we don't want to slip back from that top 4 consistency in the world. We want to improve, and we didn't feel there would be enough improvement going into Pittsburgh and having no real off season that he would be a big difference. And God forbid, in a show like that, we slip back to 4th or 5th because the judges are seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
So for us, it was too soon. Worried about what for you. It's like you've always had the muscle, and you are well balanced. I think you just again nailing that peak. I think you're going to put the judges in a weird spot, because I think you listen. Ali brings a phenomenal look. He's a good champion. He's got great condition. That is his signature. So if you can match close to the condition part, he's not going to be able to match you in a lot of other areas. And then you got Aaron, who to me is, it all depends. What Aaron you're going to see. It's been a little different the last couple of shows.
Yeah.
But if Aaron is the Aaron that won Olympia, it's and I didn't know. So you guys said Brandon was doing the show, Hendrickson?
Yep.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's the thing is, for me, I completely get what you're saying, where Emmanuel, he's number 4 in the world. And you're competing against a couple Olympia champions, number 2. Whereas for me right now, I necessarily don't have much to lose. It's more about getting on there and showing people that I can still do this. So competition aside, realistically, I'm not scared to stand on stage with anybody. Like I said, I know I can match up to anybody with structure and with muscle. It's just a matter of, again, Mikey nailed it with coming in the way I know I should come in. That's something that's eluded me for a while. So if I could come in full and dry, I think I'll make it challenging for anybody.
That's what I think is the exciting thing about this show as well, because like each one of you has a very, very different thing that you bring into the table. So I know you spoke about your insertions and things like that, but your strength, or one of your strengths, is you're just very, very round and bubbly in the right places, like your chest, your delts. That's something that they're not bringing. Like Ali Bilal is bringing detail and condition. Like he's very good on that front. Aaron Banks is very good for, like, if you just look at his silhouette. His silhouette of men's physique is very good. So each one of you are bringing something very unique. And if you all bring your best, I'll be extremely interested to see what the judges go for on that day.
Yeah, it's just going to be an amazing time. It's going to be such a fun
I'll be there front row, man, cheering you guys on. That's a show, I'm not going to miss.
Jeremy.
It's my birthday, so.
It's your birthday when you're competing.
Jeremy,
What's
no,
up? No, I said it'll be on my birthday, the 6th Pro. So, it's going to be a good treat. That's probably going to be an exciting show to watch because you're going to see how this plays out. And if it doesn't play out how a lot of people think it's going to play out, then you're rethinking how Olympia is going to look. Now everyone's anticipating Olympia,
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I love about Physique. Like it can change like that. Like if Jeremy comes in absolutely bang on and nails his look, and that's what the judges go for, it will completely change it. Everyone will think, oh, is that what they're looking for now? Are they looking for that round sort of like bubbly look? And it can change like that, and it can change your momentum going into the whole of the rest of the season. Speaking of which, what other shows have you got lined up?
I already signed my contract for New York as well. I'll speak with one of my buddies about whether or not it'd be smart to do something like Wasatch beforehand, or if that could possibly hurt me.
I think if you win one of those shows, it's like go off into the sunset for the off season. But
yeah,
it makes sense to go into New York Pro. I mean, if you're top 2, just like Ali did, and I mean, look at the previous champs. Ryan was off at Pittsburgh that year that he took second to Corey. We all know that, but he redeemed himself by going to New York. So I think if you're anywhere in that top 3, it's like keep rolling it until you get that win you need, because you're going against the best of the best in the world. You're gonna get one of those Wasatch shows or anything like that. And then we got Jeremy Buendia also. I forgot doing the show as well. So if he's back, he's got a lot of injuries popping up on him here and there, but if Jeremy stays on track, I mean, you got one of the all-time greats. And then you got Brandon, another all-time great, right? You got Jeremy Potvin, a top 3 in the world. You got Ali, a top 2 in the world. You got another Olympian. I mean, probably. Honestly, this is kind of a little bit more exciting than Olympia, because Olympia, it's like you kind of know what you're going to be looking for after you've seen the whole season unfold. Yeah. Where this, it's like, who's going to be ready? Who's going to shuffle shit up here? So,
exactly, especially with Buendia as well, because like you say, he competed at the Olympia 23 and he was off, and he still got 8th in the world being off. So if he absolutely nails it at this show with this comeback, you don't know where he's going to place either or how he's going to look, because we haven't seen him like peaked perfectly with all the new size that he's got. So I'm quite intrigued to see how that'll look as well.
Yeah, because with Jeremy, man, I'll tell you, when I was training with him before the 23 Olympia, boy, he looked insane. He is one of those guys. I think maybe it's because I was one of those competitors who was coming up when he was on the top. He's one of those guys who I will see his physique, and when Jeremy's on, he's just got such an awesome look, in my opinion. Yeah. That it's one of those looks too, where you just kind of have to look at it and fit it in with the judging and see where it goes. So I know when Jeremy's on, he's definitely.
It would have been good to see if he would have when everyone looked at that video of him like 2 or 3 days out, where I even saw him at Kiss Me Muscle Gym, and I was like, dude, just fucking bring this right here. And I think the tension, he was having so many people around him. He was doing so many interviews, stayed at the meet and greet all night, hit a line down the thing. A lot of things kind of, set his body back. His body started stressing when he started loading the carbs and just couldn't digest. He wasn't going. When he told me 1 or 2 days out, we were at the gym, he's like, I haven't gone to the bathroom. That I knew right there. I said, dude, you got to go chill in your room and get out of here. Like, you got to get your mind, get away from everybody. And that meet and greet night, you still stayed there late. And then next thing you know, you wake up the next day, you're a day out. How much can you fix in a day if your body's not responding and turn that around? So I had a bad feeling when I saw him that 2 days out, when I knew his body was stressing and not going to the bathroom regularly, that there was something bad. Not the Jeremy we were going to see that pitchers like, oh my God, he could be the champion again. I'd love to see him bring that at Pittsburgh.
I think if Jeremy goes in stress-free, you'll see that. If he goes in with the intent of like, I'm going to have fun with this, I'm going to enjoy it, because I know he's got that competitive mindset where he obviously wants to win. But I think if for this one he puts it, I wouldn't necessarily say aside, but if he, like I said, just focuses on having fun, and I think he stands a really good chance of relaxing himself and coming in at his all-time best. It's just like in 2018, he was looking incredible a couple days before, and when the stress and the pressure and sometimes the food gets to you, you see what happens.
It's crazy how much it can affect you, isn't it? And everyone's so different as well. Like some people can get stressed out and it doesn't affect their look at all, and then some people it can completely destroy a peak week. But I think the fact that he did that Olympia, placed 8th, in a way, is probably taken a lot of pressure off going into this next show, because not everyone's expecting these things. So of course, we're hoping that he's going to look awesome, but no one's expecting him to come in and like easily win it or anything like that. So taking a bit of pressure off can help, I think.
Yeah. He'll have the most drastic change too, because when judges saw him off, and then if he comes that razor sharp core striatus on the side that made him won 4 Olympia titles, the judges are going to be like, oh shit, that's the past Jeremy with size.
Yeah.
We want to see what he looks like next to everybody in the middle. And the same thing with you. You could be having 2 Jeremys battling it out and really mess up everybody's, mindset.
One of the big things I'm doing differently this year too is, I'm on it with my supplementation. Not a lot of people knew when I went into the 23 Olympia, I try to get away with as little as possible. And man, it definitely showed in my size and my fullness. Because I didn't go over 300 on anything. So it was really low. I was just trying to see what I can get away with, and for me to kind of show up at that Olympia. Granted, I brought the conditioning, but my physique is one of those where if you're a little bit off, you're a lot off. So I have to be like
Steve knows your body, man. Steve knows your look really well, and that's what I like Steve and what he looks for, and he's judged you your whole career at Olympia. He knows when you're not maxed out. He loves that full look on you. And I would advise you definitely go see him before Pittsburgh. Maybe like 4 weeks out. Spend some time with him in the room, posing, have him guide you how he wants you to display on stage for your physique. Because that means a lot to him that you're, obviously you're back. You want this back. You're still young, man. You're still, you got some gas left in that tank, and you got some years left in it. If you want to continue this and keep moving back up, I think you can do it. It's all, like you said, the mindset at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm back into that place again where I'm enjoying, training. And granted, things still hurt, but it's not as bad as it used to be. So yeah, overall, it's just kind of like I feel like I'm getting started again. So
Jeremy, I want to ask this because Matt and Michael have both brought up the fact that if you come in on point or bubbly, then you can ruffle up everything. You could throw everything out the window and anything could happen. I guess my question is, 2016 Olympia, you were 3rd place. 2017 Arnold's and Olympia, you were 5th. 2018 10th of Olympia, but by 2020 you got to 4th. At 2016, I think we all thought, wait there, this is a person that could now maybe push on and push for Olympia title. Why do you think it never worked for you at that point when you were 3rd in 2016?
I personally think I got caught up in the social media aspect of things. My old roommate, good guy, he's done tremendous things for himself, but I don't think he was the best person to be around when I was, really starting to make a name for myself. And a lot of people told me the same thing. A lot of him was focused on social media, the partying and stuff like that. So that was kind of something I got caught into, as well as, I was young. Again, the social media thing was just, not new, but it's to that point where people could stop working and start making money for themselves. And so, you hear a lot of people telling you, like, oh, hey, we can do this for you. And, all those voices kind of came into me, and I just started focusing on other aspects. I didn't really take the training as seriously, though I still enjoyed it. But preps became, like, what could I get away with versus let's stick to it. So I never really had that mindset or that drive. And then also I did leave California, which in 2016 I was in California and training with my coach at the time. And that environment is just something different. When you're training with a bunch of like-minded people who are driven and motivated, there's not one bad day there. So when you take that away and you start training on your own, and that motivation, that drive, that push goes away, I mean, it reflects on your physique, reflects on your mindset. So I kind of say I just kind of lost it there. And in 2020, it went back to that kind of mindset of let's see what I can do, or if I'm still competitive. In 2021, I made, in my opinion, it was a pretty dumb decision. I was like, you know what, I want to go to Classic. And that's the year Diogo moved up to third after I just got fourth. And I felt like me making that move, it brought another guy up to the top who was similar in structure, and kind of kept him there. But Diogo's always looked phenomenal. He's always been a guy that I've noticed since the very beginning too. So
yeah,
So,
Diogo's got very good balance, isn't it? Go on, Suki.
I just want to do a follow-up on that before I pass it back to you guys. So there's going to be a lot of people in a similar position to yourself, like in 2016, where maybe they experience some success, and therefore their environment might change or their mindset might change. So what advice would you have for those people that may get a taste of success, but start feeling that maybe they're getting ahead of themselves?
I think it's a matter of remembering why you did this. Did you do this because you really wanted to challenge yourself, or did you do this because you want to get a little popular at a payday? And I think that's the biggest thing is always remembering your why, remembering your purpose, why you started this journey in the first place. And that's something I've had to remind myself countless times. Just you're not done yet. I'm one of those guys who's always kind of held myself back too in my own mindset. I've never really looked at the things I've accomplished and been like, yeah, I've done that. I've never really kind of given myself praise. And I think that in itself is important to do so as well. You got to recognize the kind of person you are. You got to recognize the impacts that you can have on others. And just, I think, believe in yourself. Remember why you started. Remember your purpose, and kind of keep that going. Try to stay grounded too.
Yeah, I like that.
Sorry,
Mike, I'm sure you come across this a lot as well, coaching a lot of people. Like, environment can be so huge, and it's from like an amateur level and clearly all the way up to the top of the pros. If you're not surrounded by people that are going to not necessarily take you down a dark path or anything like that, but if they're not as supportive as potentially they could be, it can affect things quite a lot without you realizing it. If you're in like a really good camp, even if it comes down to your relationship, your partner really supports you, your friends around you, you've got a great coach, it can take you to new levels. So yeah, your training camp, your support network is absolutely everything. But it's great to hear, Jeremy. It sounds like you've got all of that in a great setup.
Yeah, no, it's definitely kind of seemed like everything just came together all in the last several months for me, or in the last year, really. All the stressors that I had, they kind of, I did what I needed to do to get those fixed. I'm not just focused on supporting my entire household. Now my wife's working as well. One of my friends from the old Zero Gravity days, he's back in my life on a more personal level, and he's actually kind of helped me a lot with the whole, like I said, conquering my mind thing. So it really is good to have a very solid corner, solid support system of people who do believe in you, to again reinstill that belief in yourself.
Epic. So that brings me on to the next question then. So obviously you've been in the game for a long time. You're making this big comeback. So I know you've touched on it already, the couple of things that you're doing differently. So your support network is better. You're taking your supplementation a little bit more seriously. Is there anything else you're doing moving into this season that's going to separate you from your previous looks?
I mean, really, realistically, it feels like I'm doing this again for the first time. So when you're training for that first Olympia, it's different. I think you're just so excited to be there. You have no expectations. You just know you want to do everything possible to make sure you show up as good as possible and to leave no stone unturned. Because at the end of the day, we know the decision ultimately isn't up to you. So as long as you can take as many variables out of that equation, the better. And that's something that I've definitely gotten a lot better at this year. Like I said, just before I used to have those little things where it's like, all right, well, I got to do this. And then you think of a reason, the smallest reason to not do it. Now it's like, I don't have those reasons anymore. I'm going to force myself to do those little things that you don't want to do. And that's, again, all part of the conquering your mind thing. That little voice that says, maybe later. Don't push it off for later. So I think that, again, it's crazy how strong you can feel if your mind is good.
Yeah. So it sounds like your mindset is completely different, basically. So you've really worked on that, and that's what's going to help you get to that next level, which I'm a massive believer in. If your mind's in the right place, it can take you physically to a whole nother level. Because a lot of the time, and don't take this the wrong way, Jeremy, sometimes if you're very genetically gifted, earlier on in your career, you can be like, I can get away with that. It'll be fine. I just won't do that. But if you have great genetics and a great mindset, that's when you have an Olympian.
Yeah. And Mike kind of knows. I was one of those guys who would be like, all right, I can get away with a lot of stuff.
Jeremy can eat crap all day and still wake up like shredded, so I hate him. I was never one of those guys. I had to watch every meal that went into my body, but I also didn't continue bodybuilding until my mid-30s. So for me, my body was already shot. I started at 20, so for me, I was kind of already on my decline. But yeah, he's one of those guys. He literally can eat a bunch of crap all day. He wakes up the next day, and sometimes he looks better. So that's tough to deal with sometimes. But I've known Jeremy a very long time, and I can see it in his eyes. I can see it in his body language that this is going to be a different Jeremy this year, and I'm happy for you, man. We've had our ups and downs over little things here and there, but I've always wanted to see you at your full potential, and that's why I was always hard on you, because I know. That's why I was in your corner during that time.
Yeah.
Because I always believed in you. So, and me, my pet peeve is like when I feel like people, because I feel like, life is short, right? And you get this window that God gives us, right? And when people don't take that so serious, that window and that opportunity, especially like you had, I tend to, get tough on people, right? Especially if I care about them. So, you see this side of Jeremy, and I've seen this start coming. This is not like I'm not in shock. I started seeing it last year, just by the way you were looking at it and going into your prep and just being happy with family and your situations and all that stuff, and surround yourself with better people, like you said. I'm not shocked. This is where I thought you should be. This is where I wanted to see you be. So I'm glad. I'm happy for you. And now, I'm going to be a fan in your corner this time instead of being stressed out. You peeking on stage. I'll give you that tan. I'll still do your tan if you want me to.
I'll hold you to it.
Yeah, I'll be there, man. But yeah, no, just I'm going to be one of your best supporters there, man. Rooting for you. I'd love to see you go shock everybody and kick some ass at that show, man. So
I appreciate that. Mike always has me a lot.
Yeah.
Jeremy, before we wrap it up, I want to finish off this question here. December the 31st, 2025. If you could look back at 2025, everything you try to achieve, what would make 2025 a successful year where you could look back and be happy?
Knowing that I've executed to the best of my ability. Because I think if I can kind of buckle down on everything that I need to do, to make myself a better person and execute versus give myself excuses not to do certain things, it'll be a successful year. You know, I'm not going to relate everything to the stage because I can execute perfectly and be insanely happy with the look I brought and still place dead last. Obviously, that's not the goal, but at the end of the day, it's all about execution. As long as you can sit there and, you know, you can be proud of the work that you put in. I think that could be a successful 2025. Granted, with that aside and taking judging out of the equation, I mean, realistically, I think winning a couple of these big shows with these big names there, which I think is very possible, that can be a cherry on top. So.
Epic. One quick question from me as well, just out of interest more than anything else. How far off do you think the weight cap will you be?
I mean, my weight cap, I believe, is going to be about 172. Right now, I'm 179. I'll get my weight up to about 185 before I cut, and I'll probably be around 165 to in between 165, 170. I think I'm going to grow into the show a little bit.
That's a lot bigger Jeremy.
Yeah. Well, again, you know, when I did the 23 Olympia, you know, when you're on.
Well, what were you on before that? What were you on stage at Olympia?
Oh, I weighed in at 156 at the Olympia, but I weighed in so low. Again, I was eating like 1,200 calories. My gear was down to, you know, I'm running 300 tests.
Yeah, I think that like 163 is going to be like a good where you can hold your condition.
Yeah,
good number 165 because you maxed out like that. Nobody has those. I think the only one that can get really close to your fullness right now would be Dio or Brandon.
Yeah,
Don't be shocked. You see, you know, very comparable three in that muscle density fullness. That if you three are on. Those other guys might be looking inside, you know, from the outside.
Yeah, I think, again, it's not necessarily about being bigger for me. It's just a matter of filling out and making sure those cuts are deep.
You don't need any more muscle.
As round, I'll see.
Yeah. You don't need any more muscle. I mean,
yeah.
You get a little more detail in the back, but just like you said, when you're full, your back brings that detail and density, and the lines appear better anyway. So,
yeah.
Yeah, you can see that in some of your Instagram updates you put up, some of your post workout shots and videos. Like you just look fucking massive. It really surprised me you weigh that when you look as big as you do.
Oh, dude, nobody. He can go to any circus in the world and be like, "Guess my weight," and they would get it wrong. You know, like you never realize. You know, you look at him on thing, you're like, this guy's got to be like 220, 225.
Yeah, I remember when I weighed in front of Tyler for the first time. He like stopped doing what he was doing. He was like, I got to see this. He stepped on the scale and it was like I think it was like 157. It was like at that Republic of Texas show. He was like, that's ridiculous.
That's crazy, man. It must be like have hollow bones or something. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a pretty small guy though. That's the only part that sucks. So it is kind of challenging being this short and standing next to guys like Banks and. It definitely doesn't make it easy, but again, having the crazy proportions does help.
But I tell you, Steve likes density, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, Steve likes muscle. So yeah. I think it goes in your favor when you're going to look the more muscular guy. And they can't say you don't fit the division because you're under the weight cap. And that's one thing. Even Tyler said, he's like, you know, these people say these guys don't fit, but they're under the weight cap, so they fit the division. And that's all he cares about.
Yeah.
You make the weight cap. You know, then you're fitting the division because that's his criteria that he is filling. So
it's not really a tall lineup anyway. It's only Aaron Banks, isn't it? But the Arnolds is quite a tall lineup because you've got Banks, you've got Siddy, you've got Alexander Cavagnola. Like they're all really big guys.
Yeah.
Whereas your show, yes, it's more of a shorter lineup, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I think the top five going to be short though. You're going to have Diogo. I'll call it right now. Arnold, Diogo, Vitor, Aaron, Ali. You know, who am I missing? Edouard Palmero. That's your top five. Ain't nobody breaking that, buddy.
Now, my thing is for Pittsburgh, since it's the Mannion show, Steve is judging, and I think it's vice versa for Steve, correct? For the New York Pro, since it's Steve's show.
He will not judge New York Pro.
Yeah, that's
it'll be Tyler.
My thing, I don't know if I told you, Mike, but at the Olympia, it was very hard for me to pose because Tyler prefers me posing one way and Steve prefers me posing another way.
And that's, hopefully they're not listening to this, but that's a problem that we had with Emmanuel. And I did tell Steve, and Steve gave me this advice. He's like, well, then listen to Tyler. He wanted Emmanuel to do his back pose one way, and Tyler wanted it a different way. So we would kind of try to blend them both, and we were called for pinching, and that's what moved us to fourth. So
that's interesting.
We really weren't. We were doing what he wanted us to do and bring the back more. But I think Emmanuel could have maybe pinched at one point. I keep on reviewing the film. I didn't see it, but we were trying to. It was confusing us. Because we know Steve's the head judge. We also know Tyler has a huge influence and is kind of the head judge with him. It's a situation. So we're trying to, again, Tyler didn't like it and Steve didn't say anything about it.
Yeah. I was standing there at the Olympia and I was looking at both of them like, who do I pose to? Oh, man.
It must be so hard, especially if you've gone through your whole prep posing in a particular way, thinking it's great. And then they told you want to change it slightly. Yeah, let's just go into detail a little bit on that, Jeremy. So what did they want different from each other?
So like my entire career, I've kind of like always done two poses really when it comes to the front, a straight on and that angled hand on the hip with my chest flexed. Tyler does not like either of those. So Tyler's thing is just to kind of stand there, little angle, twist, more relaxed, more pretty, I guess you could say, versus showcasing a lot of like detail and size. So, one likes more aesthetic, one likes more size. At least that's the way it came off as. So, you're at the Olympia and you're like, well, damn, I'm good at these poses. This is what Steve likes, but Tyler also told me to never hit these poses again. So it gets a little complicated there.
So what did you do?
I picked Tyler's. I did Tyler's posing, a little bit more relaxed. But the reason I picked Tyler's is because I do like the way Tyler has been very consistent with his judging. It seems like since he's judging the majority of at least the physique shows versus Steve, where he's judging the bigger ones. I
think Tyler has a lot more passion for the men's physique. Yeah. He's kind of grown up. It resembles the look that he could achieve too. I know. Like he was always messing around with me. He's like, if I ever wanted to do men's physique, I'm like, you would do good. You got a good look. He's got a small waist, actually. He's got a good chest. So, and he's very passionate about it. He grew up in the men's physique area when he started judging, and I got judged by Tyler, and I think it was one of his first shows. I did Worlds, and that was the first time he judged me. It was 2018. I think he started in 2017, I believe it was. Because he wasn't a judge when I went pro in 2015, 16, whatever it was.
I think he did a guest, or he was like one of the not guest judges, but I think he did judge in some aspect at the 16 Olympia, if I'm not mistaken.
He probably test judged.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
He wasn't on the panel until 2017, I believe.
Yeah.
But guys, I got to bounce because I have another meeting too.
Don't worry. I said I was going to wrap this up 10 minutes ago. We just kept going. So
yeah, sorry.
There we go. But look, let's think about that. Jeremy, I want to wish you the best of luck for your show for Pittsburgh. I know we're all supporting you back here. Can't wait to see what you bring. And hopefully after Pittsburgh, we can get you back on and do a little recap of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, good talking to you guys, man.
Likewise.
Take care, Jeremy.